Hello, hello. It has been a minute, but ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Oh, we got some echo. Let's get rid of that real quick. There we go. Just still getting back used to the layout again. So I think we're all good. And now, chat, let me know if I'm coming through okay for you. Yeah, so it's been about 3 weeks that I've been missing, and I've got to come clean with you, chat. All right. It wasn't, being under the weather. It wasn't, maybe some busy work schedule. No, the reason why I haven't been streaming, for being totally honest, is because I fell in love with 11 furlong races, chat. That's going to be the main focus of tonight's discussion. And I'm going to frame that around all of the different tools. We'll talk about breeding too, but we're going to start off tonight talking about racing, talking about, there's an announcement in Discord today, talking about how the team wants to start putting some money into juicing wagering, which can hopefully help with a little bit of what you're doing there, if you're doing that, or if you're curious about it. So yeah, I'm super, super excited tonight. A ton of updates that I have not talked about at all. So if you're tuning in tonight, you're going to hear them and see them for the very, very first time. I'm super excited for tonight's show. As always, before we get into it, though, before we get started, no information here is financial advice of any kind. The goal of the show is to educate and entertain. Web3 games are subject to change at a moment's notice. So please, if you decide to spend your hard-earned money, plan accordingly. I want to give a big shout out to chat. We've got Mo Knows over on Kick. Shout out to anyone watching me over on Kick. Super, super excited to be on that platform. I see Mo, you're over there right now. If you see me looking over on this side, I've got my kind of Kick chat up waiting for Streamlabs to integrate everything, but I'm sure it'll happen in time. Let's see what Mo has to say here. Putting together a breeding plan. Yes. Breeding plans. We'll be talking a little bit about that tonight. Want to give another shout out to CRT and OG in the house. We got Trot. Trot on Gaming is in the house. So happy to see you here tonight, Trot. Missed you. So happy to see you're in photo finish. That's really, really exciting. Oh, and I realized I didn't even update my ticker. Shame on me. We'll get to it next week. It will be updated. So, chat, let's dive in. For those of you that maybe don't know, I have a suite of tools. We're going to be going through each one tonight. And you say, oh, MJ, you've gone through these before. Yes, and I'm going to continue to do so because I think they're going to continue to provide value. And they have changed a lot since the last time we spoke. I was twirling my mustache, planning my PFL domination. That's why Mo was saying I was gone. Yeah, basically, doing a little bit of that. So this is kind of the bread and butter tool that I have. It's a horsepower comparison tool. For those of you who know me from Zed, this is the photo finish equivalent of Zetalytics, right? So, oh, sorry, this is horsepower comparison. I'm jumping the gun a little bit tonight, chat. We're going to take a step back before we get into that. We're going to start on horsepower. Mo, I know you're itching to go to horsepower comparison. So horsepower is the equivalent of Zetalytics. Now, here you can see, okay, here's Hawkeye. This is my horse, my main horse, I'll say. Track preference match. Are you running, his preference is left turf soft. What this is saying is, do you want to filter by left turf soft races or not? Left turf yielding will be considered false in this case. So something to note. Pretty standard. I've gone through these, stats and things a million different times. You've got your profit, speed, win percent, win place show, boost, things like that for the Gen 0 at least. Age, and then your breakdown by distance, all the individual races. Reminder, if you click on this click me, you'll see this little hover pop up and you click view horse. You can actually view the horse on Photo Finish's website. And then if you scroll down here as well, if you click on a race name, and it's going to freak out on me here for a second, but you can say, hey, view the race, and you can go directly to the race on Photo Finish's website. So reminder of that. But now let's go back to the kind of the exciting bits of this page. If you noticed, you might have seen it on the bottom, but there are some differences. First major difference is looking at speed. I had some speed comparisons on here and different like speed scales. I really thought that that was way too confusing. So I've kind of just simplified this completely. There's no more speed comparison. It is just a speed. But what I did add on the bottom is, if you remember the good old ball chart from Zed, this is a new version of the ball chart. But you can kind of see this will look at a field of all horses, and it will look at the red ball being the horse that you have selected and where they have run. So if you're in between this light gray and dark gray box, you're right here in the middle. Kind of like this. This is a little bit on the lower side. Think about like where the middle of that ball is. That's about kind of an average-ish speed. But if you're above, like here on 11 furlongs, that's going to be pretty fast. This might be on the slower side. Now, is speed the make or break single factor you should look at when determining a distance? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to tell you that for certain. But it's something that people like to consider and look at. It's also very useful to look at compared against a population. Now, one thing that is unique and I think is special about my speed stat, it's a calculation in miles per hour, so I take the time and convert that over. But it also looks at your horse's grade, event type that the horses ran at, distance, surface, direction, and condition to get you that average speed. And so that's why we say, well, okay, Hakanai is an A- grade horse, but is killing it at 11. And yes, there are other, higher graded horses in here. This is a population comparison. But he's running pretty well here. So going back to the theme tonight and why I've been missing streaming, is Ty's in the house, loves the ball chart. Going back to 11 furlongs. So let's go back in time a little bit, right? So Hakanai's latest race, July 23rd, this Phoenix Fire Allowance. So we're going to dial this back. We're going to go back to the 22nd, and I'm going to walk you through how I got to choose this race. So all I have to do is just click this date up top, select the 22nd. It's very simple. A little calendar will pop up, and boom, we are back in time. We just time travel, chat. How often can you say you time travel on stream? Latuda over on Kick, thank you so much for popping over. Appreciate you. How are you doing? So, all right, chat, we have gone back in time. We are July 22nd. I'm looking for a race to run in. I don't know what to do. What race do I pick? How do I pick it? So I went through the process of saying, okay, let's go down to everyone's favorite ball chart. As Ty mentioned, love balls. And this looks like a solid kind of 2, but really this is a series of balls, which with each ball being a horse. And I see, okay, well, 11 seems to be pretty good. 9's not bad. 10 a little slower. 12 not so great. Now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to pop back up and say, and I could do this differently too. But I like looking at the balls because it gives you comparison versus just a raw number. And if I look at 11, which is right here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to sort by profit first off. Just click that. Boom. So I see, okay, 11 has been my most profitable. 4 races. Super small sample size, right? But if you look at, competition as defined up here, assigns each horse numerical value based on its grade, SSS plus being 21. D, that should be D minus is 1. And then it kind of factors in boost. So in saying a boost is not quite a full grade, it's 3/4 of a grade. That's not scientifically true in the grand scheme of things. That's just a generalized number that I've applied to it. A grade rating of 1, here's what you need to know. Rating of 1 implies your horse is roughly 1 grade higher than its competitors. So I've run against some arguably weaker on paper competition, but when you factor in things like handicaps, allowances, and different weights, it may not be that big of a factor. But I can see, okay, well, this has been my most profitable. I've had not quite the best finish position, but when you look at finish position out of horses, and this is why I look at the down here, looking at the finish percentage, it's like, oh, 2 out of 4 is great, but 2 out of 4 is okay. That's not necessarily an indicator of like super strong performance, but a 2.75, sorry, 2 out of 4 right there, 2 position for horses. Let's see, that should highlight. You should be able to see my mouse. But 2.75 out of 7.25, 2.8 out of 7.4. I think that's a lot better. 50% win, 75 win place show, pretty high fleet figure. And this is, Mo, I saved this in my notes just for you, my guy. I know you love a closer. Look at this fleet figure percentage change. Again, instead of just looking at the numbers, we're looking at the percentage of the field and how that closes down. 73.86, 59.28, 35.51. Tell me that isn't a closer, Mo. Tell me that is not a closer. How hyped would that horse get you? It gets me hyped. I love closers. And that's why, in kind of picking out this horse and watching real horse racing, those horses got me the most excited. That's what I was hoping to get from this horse. So I'm seeing a lot of, I talk about pieces of the puzzle, pieces that point to this. Good win, great position off of, denser fields, heavier fields, closing well, profitable. It's got great balls on it. We want to make that joke. And looking here at the finish percent with fleet figures, we can say, okay, yeah, 11's pretty low, 10's pretty low. 4 races, that's what this 4 is. Finishing 36% of the populations of the registrants, and 65 fleet figure, which is pretty good for this horse. So that's my reason for picking 11. Now we're going to go forward in time a little bit, chat. And if we look at the Phoenix Fire Allowance, sure enough, 11, sloppy, 5 horses, first place. 35.19 was the speed there. And our average, I don't even know what this is, mouse over 35.14. So ran that a little faster. So all in all, great selection. The horse is killing it right now at 11 furlongs. 80% win place show, 60% win. I couldn't be happier with Hakanai. And this is a A- horse. This isn't one of the best horses in the game by any means. It really comes down to just very specific race selection. I'm curious. I didn't pre-look this up. But if I switch to, let's go to true. Let's get rid of all the races that, don't match his preference. And then let's jump up this time. Let's just look at, let's see, looks like, May, June. If we did like what, mid-June, April, May, just say June 14th. So he was 31 and 62. Okay, 25 and 50, maybe not as good. I did a 10, an 11, and a 12 since then. I've done 9 races. And of those 3s, one of them, 67% here. Yeah. Love it. Love it. That, what was it? The 12, I think, was rough. Where's the profit? Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. It was a 10. A 10. That was rough. But overall, very happy with this horse. So, let's say then, let's take this next level. You feel that, you kind of understand, you can put your pieces together for your horse. It may look completely different. Some horses may be harder to determine. Some may be easier. Let me throw out my Uddy buddy, Muddy Ace up here. And let's expand this time back again. You can see it looks like 8 is very strong from him. And I'm not even looking at the ball chart right now, chat. I'm looking at just this. A very low average finish percent, which is a good thing. Higher fleet figure. Look over at speed. Not as great. Not as great, but overall doesn't seem to be a super fast horse. Maybe at 11. Maybe at 11. And in fact, I haven't run any 11s with him yet. I want to. I'm curious about it. But yeah, if I look here at 8, profitable, closes, win place. So this is kind of quickly and easily. You can see how I'm gathering data. I got this horse off of a claiming race for 10,000. I've added him in some. Sorry, we can extend that out a little bit. I thought I had one more race. I did. That's right. I did. Put him in an 11. He did not do well. Let's look at his speed. 34.69. And okay, so a little slower than average, which is a little below average. And he got third out of fourth. But this was a claiming against, I believe, some A and even an A plus horse was in here. So I'm not going to hold it against him. You know, not his fault. That's on me. I need to be a little more specific in how I pick my races for him. But I'm very intrigued by putting him in another 11 and another 8, so that are more tailored to his style. But anyways, so very quickly identify areas of opportunity for your horse. I'm not going to say you're going to make profit. I'm not going to say you're going to kill it. You may not. You may. I can't guarantee that either way. But hopefully you start to get insights and get insights quickly into what opportunities your horse could have. I also like this because it was another LTS horse for my stable personally. And, you know, my mare that I had was also LTS. So between, I've got, you know, two, like a breeding pair between, you know, her and Muddy, her and Hawkeye that I could put out, which I'm pretty happy with. Hop in my Joker baby, hoping my Joker baby comes out black and gray like Joker. Would love that. My patience is amazing. Oh, why do you say that, Latuda? Why do you say that? But I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. So this is great. Hawkeye, 11 furlongs. Well, you know, the team mentioned they want to start juicing wagering. Want to understand how could a horse maybe do in a given field? Well, let's go back to that Phoenix Fire allowance. This is Hawkeye's most recent race. Again, very tailored and specific. Maybe you're speaking to my race selection patience there, Latuda. But so I can see, you know, okay, he's going to be within this allowance, you know, grade change. He had 834 odds, which the worst odds, very small field, five horses. But I know it's 11 furlongs. I know it's turf. I know it's left. So if I want to evaluate this field, I'm going to go to my second tool, horsepower comparison, or the HPCT. Thank you, Mo, for the name on that. And as you can see here, there's a race that's preloaded. If I want to get a race in here, I'm going to hit clear list on the side. Thanks, Latuda. I really appreciate it. He says, your ability to wait out races and find the perfect one is awesome. I really think it's, you know, it makes a difference. We'll talk about that at the end. I want to circle back to that at the end of the show. But for me, at least, that's important. So what I'm doing is I'm on the photo finish page. I'm going to grab this, and shout out to Mo here again. He also did the music at the beginning of the show. But I'm just going to click and drag everything down. Control C and click on horses and Control V and just paste it all in there. You can see the first few values, 0.00 and 1. It's going to filter all of that junk out, and it's just going to show you the horse names. So now we look at these horses. And if I look at this right now, and you go to the bottom, you've got, again, this is a different ball chart. Each ball is a horse that is in the race. And it's kind of cut off because I'm zoomed in for stream. But you can see right here, my boy Hawkeye in this beautiful purple color. Not looking so hot at first glance. But chat, wait, there's more. So what are we going to do? Just like we did kind of a walkthrough without necessarily clicking through too much, we're going to start using some of these filters to get a better idea of how horses could run in this particular race, right? So the Phoenix Fire allowance is 11 furlong, left turf, sloppy allowance. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the distance. And for the sake of just kind of speed, I'm going to dial it right in. You might want to choose a range. Maybe you want to go 10 to 12. Maybe you want to go 11. I'm going to go right into 11. So I just click in the box, type 11. Type 11 in here as well on the upper end. And boom. So it gets rid of a lot of that noise, and it's going to dynamically zoom in And so you can get a clear picture of where the horses sit, and you can see the scale on the side here change. So it's not a huge gap between everyone, right? But however, out of 5, my boy Hawk and I sitting in 4th. Can't have that, chat. Can't have that. Well, we're going to take it one more level. We're going to add a track preference filter. So I'm going to uncheck all. Everything's going to go away. Don't freak out. No big deal. I know this is left turf soft, so I'm going to go ahead, click on LTS. You can see, okay, things are looking a little better for Hawk and I now. Sitting in number 2. Sitting in number 2 spot. That's great. And I know that this is a sloppy track. So I'm going to click off soft. In chat, when we do this, this is like a freaking magic trick. Hawk and I, it's a little bit closer. I mean, we're talking 0176, 0247 against not recruiting the A+ horse. But I know this isn't a maiden. And I know it's not handicap restricted. I don't even have to take that off. When I dial in that race type, I'm sorry, Hawk and I fell off again. Is this? Yes, no, this isn't allowance. He falls off, but he's still 02, 0176, 1152. Extremely, extremely close. So the rest of the horses are down or even off completely. So now if I sort here, chat, Hawk and I went from like 3rd, 4th to a very, very, very close 2nd. So you can also factor in things like boosts, competition. I know other people that have used this have used weight. I believe Latuda, that was your recommendation. You can look at position and how they've fared in these race conditions. If you wanted to, you could adjust the field. So let's say instead of 13, we want to dump this down to 5. We'll see what happens. I don't know if anyone has run in that many or not. Okay, so yeah, and Hawk and I in that smaller field has done well. But it's only one race. So again, very small sample size. But you can kind of now get the idea in your head of how you can very quickly take a very large, noisy sample set and drill that down. Where Hawk and I wasn't even on the radar. And now he's a contender. And again, depending on how you look at it, 116, 120. I know there's some weight changes, so that's going to help balance some things out. And it looks like the last time Hawk and I ran this with this small of a field, he absolutely just crushed first throughout the whole thing, straight out of the gate. So if we look at the actual race here, so this has not recruiting, Hawk and I, and Bilbo. You've got the other horses kind of behind it. Not recruiting ended up getting 3rd. Tiger tomorrow. Super surprising. And then, yeah, Bilbo and Splattered Paint down below, kind of as we thought. So again, you have data, and now you also have visuals to go along with it for you. So this is the horsepower comparison tool. Again, think field analysis. I like to think of this as like your digital race guide. You can quickly throw it in, make your own decisions. Like who's been profitable? Okay, well, Hawk and I's been profitable. Not recruiting hasn't been profitable. Bilbo hasn't. None of these other horses have. Maybe that's a factor I consider. In my mind, there's no right or wrong definitive way of doing this. Come up with your own strategy. Figure out what works for you. Maybe you think you have an angle that you see that I didn't. Maybe that someone else didn't. Again, the point with my tools and my site is to give you as much information as you need to make the decision in your own way based off of maybe something you learned. Maybe you read something in Discord. Maybe you saw something on the Great Gap site. Again, shout out to them. They are incredible. And you want to see how it kind of plays out here. I want you to be able to play with the data as you see fit. We're going to move on now to the breeder board. The Tuda loves the weight. Love that, love that, love that. Great suggestion, Latuda. So breeder board. This one has some super exciting updates since last time we talked, chat. So what this is kind of an overarching analysis of breed performance. It's not updated with the most recent horses. I'm still kind of tooling how I pull all of the horses. So bear with me on that. That will come hopefully within a week or two. Um, but the way that data will be shown will be pretty much the same. So one thing I want to mention here is this grade improvement. And so what this does is it takes looks at the average grade, sorry, the grade of the full, and again applies that numerical value with D minus being 1, SSS plus being 21. And it compares that versus the average grade of the parents. So if you see a difference here of 1 or grade improvement of 1, that means that the offspring is 1 grade above the expected grade. So very simply laid out, great example here. Shout out to First of the Month. First of the Month has an A+ grade. Arctic Flame has an A+ grade. Forbidden has an S- grade. So that's a grade of 1 higher than what you'd expect. You can also then, on the bottom here, you can look at sire grade improvement versus the average grade improvement overall if you want to get an idea of, how a horse may be breeding depending on what they're putting out. And is it very lopsided? So in an example of, let's see if I can find one quickly. A Gillis right here has 1 breed. I probably butchered the crap out of that name. Sire grade improvement of 6, so very high. Oh, I think I got those swapped. There was a whole sire damn name thing. I'm gonna swap those out, but really it should say bred with Midnight Sky. So we'll just scroll down here quick. Whoop, whoop. And where is Midnight? MID Midnight Sky. Okay, -2. So, you can see here that the average grade improvement for Midnight Sky was 0. And the average grade for a Gillis was also a 0. So like this to me was like an okay breed. You're getting like an average, right? This is the average. A minus B plus. Sorry, A minus B, B plus kind of makes sense. Now, one thing I also want to mention here is you can actually click on a horse name and offspring full name, and it will take you directly to that page on Photo Finish's site immediately. You don't have to go through any menus or anything like that. Very, very quick, very, very easy to do. And you can then go look at the bloodline and get all of the additional details, any charts, performance, etc. Click into information on the horses, get anything you could ever need. Now, the one other update that I have right here is a new metric called Fantaful. It's a play on words for like Fantaful, fantastical, fantastic full, Fantaful. We look at First of the Month. We look at Arctic Flame, my first example. A+, A+. You'd think, okay, probably an A+. No, S-. That's a big upgrade. Well, if you want to view all of those horses that had that, and again, we're getting the new data and all of the data in here, repulling horses, so please be patient with me. All I have to do is set this to true, and you will immediately see all horses that have bred better or bred up. And so one thing, like use case that I potentially see, and I don't know if this is going to hold over time, and I don't know what the results of this will be, and I can't guarantee anything, not financial advice, but I had a tweet the other day talking about Bangladesh, talking about, I don't think I mentioned, Lord Strange, as 2 horses because they each had 3 Fantafuls in last breeding window. So is there something to them? Possibly. One-offs, that's cool. But when you start seeing it at volume, I know it's only 1 breeding window, so again, sample size. But this could very quickly, very easily allow you to identify potential strong breeders. So something to think about. I can't guarantee any performance. DYOR, NFA, all of that fun stuff. But I really think that that is a super fast, super easy, super quick way to see, okay, who's breeding strong. And I think that's kind of the power of the breeder board, Phantom Foals. So let's say, okay, it is breeding season. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to breed. Then we're going to go over to the breed barn. I've had some updates here as well. So, and again, as things evolve, this will change. So let's go back to our example of first of the month and Arctic Flame. All right, so it's hard to see, but I promise you, it's going to auto load with Steph's Kiss. There's a gray X in the corner here. Just click near the edge of the box, it'll clear that out. So if we go to Arctic Flame, and if we look at first of the month, so what you're going to get here is just kind of an overview of like, okay, well, these are both A+ horses, LDS, LDF. So maybe not a perfect match there. The finish, both above the average. I mean, if you look at first of the month, it has some crazy numbers or crazy letter grades above their A+. A lot of S- in this horse. And stamina probably bringing that down a lot. So that tells me that's probably a really low stamina or very low S-minuses. I don't know. But could have this been a factor in why the horse bred better? I don't know. You're then going to get that grade rating. So it takes that same numerical value and it just applies an average. And you would expect for an A+ to have a grade of 12. Well, both of these are above that, 12.17, 12.67. 12.67 is crazy high for an A+. You can see number of siblings, attribute matches, all of that fun stuff. We'll come back to the stud barn in a minute. But then down here, I think this is the most important part, is, and I may switch these. I think I might. I think that makes more sense. But you can quickly see, okay, these horses are not related, and that this is a valid breed. You're mixing a male and a female. And then what you're going to see here, this white line is an average of fleet figures at distance for the horses. So what I'm looking for here is, just strength, higher numbers. Well, both horses haven't run here. You see the different colors represent each horse. The numbers inside represent how many races they've run at that distance. And so when I look at this combo, one thing that jumps out to me is cool, super strong horses, both above their grade. And then at 8 furlongs, I get that null out of there. Got to figure out what that's about. That should clean itself up soon. I think I know what that is. But at 8 furlongs, you can see they have 80 fleet figure. There's one race for first of the month. You mouse over it, this little window will pop up. It will tell you their average finish percent, number of races. So 33, that's low. Low is good. Arctic Flame, 42. So is this horse, based off of fleet figure and the performance of the parents here, could this be a strong 8 furlong racer? Maybe. So I'd encourage you to throw in combinations. Use the stud barn here, and you can see the grade rating. So if I want to look at, let's say, all S grade horses, and I don't want to have a ton of siblings, say 25. And I know there's a lot of conversation around matches. I think matches are an indicator of stronger genes. So I'll put this at 3. I could be wrong. There are cases of super foals that have 0 attribute matches. Or sorry, not super foals, Fanta foals that have 0 attribute matches. Boom. I've quickly got, and I can even go by preference as well. A list of horses I can look at I see here's Shawnee Bear. It's 15,000, a little expensive, but 1367, strong winner. Um, Very profitable. This may be tempting if this is in my budget. I don't know if it is. Again, does it match my breeding goals as well? Am I trying to breed for a certain track preference? What does that look like? Am I concerned about a certain grade? What does that look like? How do I feel these match up with the horse itself? So let's get rid of I believe first of the month. Let's do Sean E. Bear. Boom, popped in. Okay, valid breed. Yep, I did that right. And you can see, okay, 12, 13. This could be a good breed. Again, don't know. Can't guarantee anything. But feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good about it. And I look here, say, okay, maybe not some great matches in terms of distance preference. Maybe 8. They seem to be a little not quite matched there, but they seem like strong horses. So again, depends on what you look at. I want to try and give you the ability to look at everything you could ever want on a horse and make the best decision for you based off of your bag, based off of your financial situation, based off of your stable size, your stable makeup. So there you go, chat. These are all of the updates that have hit. Breed Barn will be the next one to get some kind of lifts overhaul update. I've got to tighten up a few things there. But hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully this will be helpful for you. Now, before we close out for tonight, chat, if you have any questions, you want me to look at a horse, you want to talk about a horse, you want to talk about breeding strategies, I'm more than happy to, sit, chill, chat, just however long we want to. But I want to circle back to Latuda. And the comment you made earlier, I'm reading on Kick on my screen over here. Can't post links. Drop a horse name for me, Mo. Yeah, I've got that for security purposes. And for me, I don't have a huge bag. I don't have a lot of horses. I'm not looking to constantly grind. I want to try and make the most of this for myself. So that's why I am patient. And I think my site and my tool very quickly on a single page, being horsepower, allows me to be patient. That makes sense. Like, yeah, yes, there's some patience in me, but I feel personally with that particular horse confident on where that horse should be and how that horse should be. So I want to try and maximize my chances. And that's how I see myself doing it. Boy named Sue goes to payroll. We'll flip over. So yeah, so I just and I think too that could potentially extend in my mind. Again, not financial advice. I don't know. But I want to, if I were to, sell the horse, put it up for breeding, put it in the stud barn, being selective, being patient, picking those particular races. I just think it could make the horse more attractive. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, Mo, we got a request from Mo over on Kick. Shout out. Thank you, Mo, for being on Kick. Appreciate you there. Let's take a look at Boy Named Sue chat. All right, so I got Boy Named Sue up in horsepower. And Mo, I'm gonna ask, and Latuda, I want you to do the same thing too. Let's go through this together. Give me your thoughts on Boy Named Sue. I'm not gonna read them. And I'm gonna give you my thoughts on Boy Named Sue. So it's a B horse. Left dirt soft. So let's flip this to true. All right. So let's look at, where, the horse has run well. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to speed. Now this is a B horse, so I'm expecting this to be a little lower on the scale of things because this is a show of all horses. So being low is like, that's not the worst thing in the world. But I'm seeing, okay, of all of your speeds, 12 and 10 look the best. If I look at your performance, I see 10 and 12 seem to do great in terms of fleet figure and your finish percent. 11 not bad either, but I'm noticing a big drop off. I think this 58 might have been a little bit of a fluke. But a big drop off here. So this tells me this is a distance running horse, especially with this 12. That to me is a much, much bigger sample size and clearer indicator of a little more stability in these numbers, less volatility in what we could be seeing. So I like 10, 11, 12. Well, let's check out profit, right? Just have to click the sort up top here. And first thing that jumps up is 12 and 10. Wonderful. This is awesome. So I'm saying, okay, so you seem to start strong. So I wonder if you have, you have nothing in start. Then you kind of fall off a bit, but then you finish pretty strong. You're profitable. 50% win at 4 races, 50. And so, okay, you've won 50% and you either win or you don't, basically. Here, 25%, but 50% in the money. And 11, again, it kind of matches up down here. You haven't finished quite as well. Definitely not profitable. So to me, the first thing that comes to mind immediately would be like race type, race selection. Let's get maidens out of here and just see how we've done since. Yeah, 10 and 12 still hold there. One thing I'd look at is let's look at sloppy and soft. So we have the right track pref. You're a soft horse, soft running horse. Look at sloppy. Okay, so 22 and 67. And then soft. Wow. Okay, that's 9 and 18. So I would look at, if I'm Umo, I'm looking at 10, I'm looking at 12. I want 100% rain, and I'm just plugging that horse in. I'm plugging that horse in. See, yeah, profit totally changed. Let's see what Mo's thoughts were. Best 12 furlong LDS in the game. The horse just gets going at 11 and a half. Love that. That's got to be so exciting to watch. Yeah, I tried to step him up to handicaps a few times, but not good chances for B horses. If it was B plus, he'd be way better. Yeah, I do notice that from even A minus to B plus, it kind of falls off in terms of opportunity. B plus to B, it kind of does as well. That's all right. I think that's something that could change over time, especially as the population grows and changes. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd like 12 a lot. All right, now let's flip over to Latuda's Ghost Payroll. I like that name. Did you name that horse Latuda, or did you buy it pre-named? Farad, what's up, my guy? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. One of the very first people ever to watch me stream. Love you, appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in, Farad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, brother. All right, do we have Ghost Payroll up? We got Ghost Payroll up. Okay, so Maiden's still unchecked. Filters will stay. So this is the LDS horse, B plus. Okay. And we've got that set to true. I'm going to leave that. All right, so look at this little archway over here. 10, 11, 12. I feel similar about what's going on at 7 here. Okay, only one race, though. 6, 7, and 3. Again, I'm seeing stability. When I see a lot of races here, I'm seeing some stability. And a lot. 6 or 7 is not a lot, but comparatively, it's a decent number. And we got 1739. Again, so we've got profits sorted. Profitable at 12. Okay. Fleet figures don't seem to totally match up with that, but that's okay. Speed does. So again, horses are different. None of them are exactly the same. You might see an angle here at 11 that you like, or even 10 that you like. Um, let's get rid of Maiden. The reason why I'm doing that is because I think it's very much a discovery period, especially for this first generation as we're trying to understand things a little bit. 11 does not look like you're running fast at all. Um, and then, okay, so let's take a look at, 12 kind of fall off at 12. But then 11 is pretty consistent. Like you don't quite make that final push. This is an interesting horse. You run against really big fields at 12. Only 3 races though. Let's see what kind of races you have run. Got to make sure all the filters are reconnected. This is a brand new version. I had to build up from scratch. Let's see if the 12 show up. Um, but I would be really interested to see at what types of races are you running at 12 Latuda. But 33, 33. This is where I see the most chance right now. That's what I would say. You named him. Love the name. Very cool. He's wildly inconsistent in his running style. He shoots to the lead. He dies. If he hangs back, he gets rolling and does well. That's got to be a wild ride to watch. And I wonder if that comes from. I'd be curious to see when he retires, with these at 1 and 2, what your horse's grades are for heart and temper. I wonder if they're lower. And I wonder if that adds some volatility into things. Because you'd expect the end, but especially with, speed, stamina, finish, with the lower heart and temper, make me wonder if that's adding to some volatility. I'd also consider like race types in terms of that as well. See, you love left. Surface is pretty strong. Condition is pretty strong. So I would, again, maybe try like 12 left, sloppy, medium-sized field. I know you can't control that, but that would be in my mind right now, just looking at this, ideal for this horse. Not financial advice. Got to get some more races under your belt, but this is pretty decent. Pretty exciting. What are yeah. No, 12 I feel like is tough. I feel like I don't see a lot of 12. But that could just be me personal bias. That's all anecdotal. Um there's no proof to that. Chat, any other horses you want me to take a look at? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Glad to hear you're doing well, Farhat. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. If not, we'll go ahead and close up. Put in a solid 54-ish minutes, including the preload. But yes, I'm back. Plan on being back next week. Appreciate you all for popping in. Thanks to everyone who popped in over on Kick. Really appreciate that. That will probably be my main platform going forward. I'm not abandoning Twitch anytime soon. So if you see me on, pop on any channel. Twitch, YouTube, Kick. Appreciate it all. Hope you got something out of tonight. Hope it'll help you racing in the future. And wish you all best of luck on the track. Until then, I will see you next week. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world.